Australia cannot afford to give away a penalty.
Well,
but
Foley,
they've caused the turnover.
And it's that man, Foley, who's short of the match condition and match time, who makes the crucial mistake.
Well, they were setting their pattern of play up. They were setting for the field goal. David Humphries was starting to get back in the pocket. Maybe another 5 or 6 metres and he would have had a shot.
You could see it developing. Now the Wallabies have that chance to break out. Will they take the safety of the 22 or will they try and run it out?
So it's against the new prop Marcus Horan for boring in, and one of the Australians out cold here. Is it Brendan Cannon? So it's Australia clinging to a 1-point advantage at Telstra Dome.
Yeah, do it now, Johnny, do it now. Fellas, number 8.
So a scrum collapse. You can see Brendan Cannon just moving his fingers. A very awkward positioning there, Chris Handy and Dan Crowley, as he came to terra firma.
Uncomfortable time as that scrum folds inwards with your arm around your own player. It just about turns your shoulder inside out. And Cannon in a really awkward position. Because both your arms are tied up, you've got no way of breaking the fall, and you can see him moving his hand, but I think it is something in his neck where he's feeling it.
It's especially difficult when it's on his ball. He actually has 1 foot off the ground and he's actually striking at the ball, so he's only got leverage on 1 foot, which makes it very difficult for him to be able to balance himself. And Jeremy Paul has been Brendan Cannon's understudy through much of this tournament.
But it looked like in the old rugby league days of the hooker going in with the loose arm. But
well, that's what happens when the one side prop turns inwards. What it does is it breaks the binds, and unfortunately that's why it is dangerous. That's why they're penalised, but it still can't stop the rest of the weight of the scrum folding in on you. So
he doesn't want to lead the field, Brendan Cannon. He says that he's the fittest he's ever been in his career. Remember, he's 30 years of age, but he is being escorted now.
Well, it's a great sight to see him up walking off the field. He'd be disappointed to come off. He's played really well in there. Look at his right arm. He would have got a burner down the right arm, a tingling down the right arm when it touches your nerve. And he's played very well tonight, but Jeremy Paul now on the field for him.
Well, it's very tense. This is the situation Ireland had to endure against Argentina last week at the Adelaide Oval. And now Australia in the same boat with a 1-point advantage. They don't want to be back here next weekend to meet France in a quarter-final. But that's the scenario if the Wallabies lose. Gregan and Takiri. Great charge here by the Australians. George Smith, Paddy O'Brien getting in the way, but not interfering with the defenders. Takiri again. Second touch inside 15 seconds.
Turnover.
And cleared by Stringer. It's a good kick by Stringer. This is Joe Roth. Rogers saying we've got to go back. And he makes sure of the touch. But Ireland now has the line out inside Australia's territory with 7 minutes to go.
Could you believe it? The bookies had a 20-point difference between these sides, and they're sitting 1 point apart. This has been a classic clash between these two great nations. There's never much in it.
Well, David Humphries, is he giving instructions to his players? Are they going to go close? Are they going to go wide? Does he want to set them up 3 or 4 phases and look for a field goal attempt?
Taken again by Easterby. They'll want to keep it down inside Australia's half now with 6 minutes to go. This is Maggs, and he's the man to take it ahead, to set it up in midfield. No handling errors from the Irish. That's the prescription. Whether they can do it is another thing.
There'll be people out there in gold jersey saying no penalties, no penalties. That'll be what's issuing along the line.
And Australia's defence is just marking up. Here's Sailor, happy to let that one go over the touchline. It was bouncing and wobbling dangerously.
Lovely hit there, Matt Cobain. Underneath also with Nathan Sharp. Good defence by the Wallabies, but they're not out of jail yet.
Australia 22 metres out from their own line. Their line out. New hooker in Jeremy Paul on. How much work has he done with these jumpers? It's a crucial throw.
He got his first one spot on.
Not that one. It's been pinched by O'Callaghan, the new boy.
Like Justin Harrison.
Drop goal!
Johnson.
Humphries! Has he done it? Just out to the right.
Is the field goal specialist. What a great win in the line out.
So now Rogers on the far side. Well, heavy palpitations in the Australian camp as that one sailed just outside that right hand upright.
It's a simple objective for Australia at the moment. Get it down the other end of the field and keep it down there. Doesn't matter how you do it, just do it.
I think Bob Dwyer paraphrased that in the World Cup final in '91 at Twickenham.
So this is Dempsey then. He's following. He's put everyone on side. Smith's underneath. Dempsey missed it altogether. Gregan's in the last line. Being chased by O'Callaghan. And a fine clearance by the Australian skipper.
Well, the Irish side, they'll be still pretty happy. They're still within 40 metres out from the Wallaby line. And it's their line-out throw. George Gregan giving instructions to his team. Saying there's 4 minutes left. Look at the scoreboard. And it just goes out to the right. The field goal attempt, David Humphries. But will he get another opportunity right now?
This is where the new reserves on in Vickerman and Jeremy Paul are going to put it up. They've got to drag this forward pack along.
Stringer goes again. It's too far out for Humphries. Instead, he puts it high. Has it gone too far? Here's Roth. Calls the mark and holds on safely.
Great work. They picked the hole where Australia didn't have a player, and it took a real sprint from Roth to get there. Looking cool, Eddie Jones, but I'm sure there's turmoil in the tummy.
So just over 3 minutes remaining. Australia leading by a point. The winner of this game to finish on top of Pool A and to advance to a Brisbane quarter-final against Scotland.
And this place of the field, this is where you want number 7 and number 6 for the Wallabies, Phil Waugh and George Smith, to keep their hands off the ball and listen to the referee's instructions.
And look at O'Callaghan jumping unopposed. Now Humphries, O'Driscoll. Good flat pass to Horgan. Just outside the 22, he slipped over and went into touch, and the Prime Minister can't bear to watch.
Look at him, it's written on his face. John O'Neill is just stone, and John Howard's going, what is happening? But good work by Lottie Dakiri. He slipped over and was pushed by Lottie Dakiri, using his momentum, getting him into the sideline. But again, Australia have got to make sure they have a good, clean, crisp line out, and that they do.
Well taken by Cobain. Interfered with in the air. It was Cobain last year who did such a great job against the All Blacks when he came on as a sub. And Callaghan looks as though he's been penalised. The Wallabies just watching that clock run down. Minute and a half to go. And Rogers with a very professional clearance there, taking it over the halfway, and Australia has the line-out throw.
Well, it's important now for the Wallabies to keep the ball. Whether they keep it in the forwards or keep it close in the backs, they must look after possession, get 5 or 6 phases, and the time will be up.
Vickerman did well. Here's little Giddo. Put his head down just as well. It would have been taken off otherwise. 17-16 to the Wallabies. So we're just over a minute remaining. Jeremy Paul. Cool heads needed from both sides. Here's Sailor. Kelly takes him front on. Vickerman with a big clean out. But importantly, Australia now inside opposition territory. Loose pass there to Sharp.
Possession's the key for the Wallabies now.
And Rogers with a bit of space. Just putting the pressure on, in behind the defence. Dempsey, no touch. Gitto, just short of halfway for Roth. Joe Roth, straight ahead. Big clean out from the Australians. The right option there from Roth, the percentage play. Jeremy Paul. Here's little Gregan and Rogers. Hayes took him. But Australia holding on to the ball. Seconds remaining in the game. And the penalty, and surely the victory for the Wallabies here.
Well, that's what Australia had to do. They just had to keep punching and punching and punching, and that's what happened. They found the crack in the armour.
And why didn't they do it earlier? It was only when the pressure came on, when all the antennae were up, that they did what they knew they're good at. Kept on carrying the ball forward.
Full time. Australia heads for Brisbane. Ireland remains here at Telstra Dome for their date with the French. But it was a tremendous performance by the losers, as the Wallabies had to call on all of their professionalism and their composure in the dying stages to hold out this tenacious Irish team.